You just record. It's just propped up right there. I mean, I just moved. No, still have that solar flare. Well, actually, you know what? No, that works fine. That works good right there.
Yeah,
that's fine. Let me just tilt that link right there. Whoops. See what happens when you're Mexican and you can't afford white people shit? I mean, if we could afford white people shit for a sports show, we'd be called the herd. I mean, you know, this is what happens when you sell out your opinion for, you know, money.
For financial gains.
It's like, hey, we're going to give you $1 million if you really talk up LeBron James. Sure, why not? Let me talk up LeBron James.
Or if we could get, you know, some likes and some subscriptions. And
hey, see that? Okay. You know what? That would be great. Because, I mean, all the things that you hear on the radio are just blasphemous anyways. They're just completely ridiculous bullshit. I mean, it's not like, I mean, they make an argument, you know, they can make a case and things like that, but it's not like it's like their legit opinion. It's just sports writers trying to be, what's the word I've been looking for like the last 4 weeks? Gosh, controversial. Oh yeah, well, yeah, full of shit works too. Yeah, controversial writing style. That's one of the things that I learned.
I think then it was Eric Bischoff that said controversy creates cash. I mean, that's true, you know.
It's the truest thing in the world. Yeah.
So you look at, you know, the big heyday, you know, like with the Monday Night Wars, it's just anything controversial, man.
It's I mean, there wouldn't be no bra and panties match if that wasn't true. I mean, who cares about wrestling when you can see women just roll around in their drawers?
And, you know, how many times have you went back to YouTube and rewatched, like, the Montreal Screwjob? You know, like,
over and over and over again.
Controversy, man.
It's This is what sells. Controversy and sex.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a controversial opinion, of course, anybody's going to listen to it. You want to know why? Because everyone wants to have an opinion about it. And that just becomes the bottom line.
And we don't want to see Stephen A. and Max Kellerman, you know, having sex, so... The controversy is what we would care about. Yeah, yeah. When
we hear like from who's it? Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman.
It's Molly Karam though. Molly Karam, she's in the middle. Yeah, might have to watch.
It almost seems like she just interjects it because she's like, "Hey guys, don't forget about me. This is the boys' club, but I'm a girl and I want to be involved too."
I know.
Feminism.
Seen sometimes in the morning where like they just start going at it and it's almost like I know she's kind of like the moderator, you know.
Yeah.
But sometimes it seems like they totally exclude her out of like some of the conversations.
Yeah. It's just like she gets overshadowed by them talking. That's almost how it feels. Or you know, you get guys like Colin Cowherd and Skip Bayless. Like literally, that almost really what it feels like. It feels like they just want to create some kind of controversial saying. Controversial writing, so that way they can get people to look at it and say, "What the fuck are you thinking?"
Well, that's how they're gonna stick around. You know, I mean, look at all the ESPN layoffs.
That's how they make money. Yeah,
you know?
I mean, when it comes to layoffs, who are you gonna lay off? Are you gonna lay off somebody where people are watching and they hate you, or are you gonna lay off somebody who people like and agree with all the time? Yeah. You're gonna fire the guy that you agree with all the time because you're not gonna make any money. I mean, why else was ESPN talking up? Guys like Sam Bradford and Eric Sanchez for like years, and we knew for a fact that those two guys were garbage, like total garbage. Everybody knew it, like coming out of the draft.
Mark Sanchez, he said Eric.
Eric's
forgetting his first name is permissible though.
That's fine with me. I don't care. That's how little I care.
That's his new name now.
Eric Sanchez.
Eric Sanchez.
You want to know why? Because Eric is a better name than Mark.
Yeah. Don't be a Mark.
Don't be Mark. Don't be a Mark. Ever, because if you're a Mark, you're always wrong. Remember that to all of our friends named Mark. You're always wrong.
I know a couple of them. One of them is an asshole.
Super duper asshole. I mean, yeah, he's almost as big as an asshole as us.
Yeah.
But we don't like him because he's always wrong. Wrong. Remember that. But yeah, it's conscious, and that's what I learned in I took a few journalism classes to major in journalism, and that's one of the things that I learned is that controversial writing speaks more to the people who are reading it than something that they're going to agree with, because anything that they agree with, anything that people agree with, it just the subject just kind of fizzles away and nobody talks about it ever again. But if it's controversial, then people are going to get up in arms about it. People are going to talk about it, and then they're going to talk to their friends about it, and then they're going to come back to your column or your piece the next time you write, and then they're going to see what you have to say again. Whereas if you agree with them, they'll just look at it and say, "Oh, I really don't need to read it because he's going to say the exact same thing I'm going to say." So
it's like, what commands your attention more? You know, it's like, I got this Rockstar drink. Someone is like, "Oh, hey, I like Rockstars. Those are good." I'm like, "Yeah, they are cool." Or, you know, somebody comes along, "Oh, Rockstar, yeah, man, fuck those things. Those things are for faggots." Like, what? Like,
it's bad for you and all this other stuff. It's as long as you're not a vegan. I think that's like the length of controversy that I could ever go. Because if you're a vegan, I just totally dismiss anything that you have to say. Pretty much. Because we don't like vegans. We like barbecue. We like red meats. We're not like Donald Trump where we eat our steak with ketchup. We don't do that bullshit. We eat steak like we eat our pussy. We eat it pink.
With a fork?
With a fork. Hell yeah.
But anyways, now that we're done with the morning circle jerk, let's get on to the bread and butter here.
The morning fap. Oh wait, hold on. Before we start on what we really want to talk about, there were a few things that we were wrong about when we talked about the LeBron stuff. Okay, so apparently one of LeBron's victories in a championship game wasn't against we said some team. I forgot what it was, but the point is that
was it the Mavs? They beat the Mavericks, right? 1 year.
No, they lost to the Mavericks, and it was the only time they played them. The next year, because they lost to the Mavericks, and the next year that LeBron and the Heat played, they played the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oh,
and apparently, when we were talking about that, the only reason we talked about it is because Colin Cowherd said that LeBron James's the 3 championship victories mean more because he's played 3 of the greatest teams in NBA history, totally excluding the Lakers and Magic Johnson, and totally excluding other teams like the Jazz, who have like multiple Hall of Famers on that team. Totally excluding that. But apparently the Oklahoma City Thunder is a way greater team than the Lakers of the 80s.
I would say not.
That makes absolutely no sense. And that's why...
I mean, it's the only time they got there. That's the only time they got to the finals, OKC, and that was that year.
And that was it.
So, you know, you can't tell me a one and done is, you know, in the finals appearance, they're one of the greatest teams ever. You know, especially, I mean, they didn't win.
Yeah, not to mention they didn't win. That's exactly like saying the Phoenix Suns were probably one of the greatest teams in NBA history.
Yeah, I mean, I could give them credit. Okay, they beat Golden State Warriors. They had the 73 wins, 9 losses. They won the finals the year before. They're back at it again 3 years in a row. You could say, yeah, that 73-win team was one of the, you know, the greatest teams in NBA history. But you know, it's more acceptable than anything else.
It gets a little dicey.
But at the same time, it's, I don't know. To me, it's hard to talk about one of the greatest teams in NBA history that didn't win a championship. Like,
yeah,
if you're the greatest, you win a championship.
And that's the only and this is like probably like the very last thing I ever want to talk about LeBron and all this other garbage that people are talking about. You don't play the game to pad your stats. You play the game so you can win championships. If you
play to win,
you play to win the game. That's exactly the reason why you are an athlete. You don't become an athlete to say I want to make millions of dollars and, you know, just pad my stats and make it look like I'm the greatest of all time. If you don't win, you're not the greatest. That's the bottom line. If you go to a championship game and you lose, you're a loser. Bottom line. Because nobody likes to lose. At all. We're not in it for participation trophies. And let me tell you something. Everyone out there can agree with this. If you go out there, just like LeBron, and you go to 4 championships and you lose all 4 of them, because 4 years ago, nobody ever talked about LeBron being the greatest of all time. Nobody. Everybody talked about how he choked, how he flops, how he does this, how he just doesn't show up to championships. Everyone just totally trashed on LeBron for those things. But yet, for some reason, over 3 years, he becomes the greatest of all time. Makes absolutely no sense. That's like saying, I'm going to cook a steak well done 4 weeks in a row. And then when I cook it for the 5th time and it's a little bit undercooked, it's the greatest steak of all time.
Greatest steak.
Fuck no. You might as well put ketchup on that motherfucker. And you just ruin that shit. You put that
marinated in ketchup.
Marinated in ketchup, just let it drown in it, and then cook it on the grill, and then add more ketchup to it. You don't put ketchup on it. You don't put A1 on it. You don't put barbecue sauce on the steak. You let that sit. You let that shit sit there on the barbecue for about a minute on one side, a minute on the other. Sprinkle some salt and some pepper. Actually, douse the motherfucker in salt. That's how you eat a steak. And LeBron is not steak. Michael Jordan is steak.
Yeah. Jordan, flaming, and I hated Jordan as a kid. I'll say that. Hated Jordan. Hated him like crazy. Just because he was so damn good.
Yeah.
Like, you know, nobody hates you if you suck. You know, it's so, I mean, I was LeBron. Yeah, of course he's good, but I hated Jordan because it's so damn good he was and just whipping up on everyone all the time.
Nobody can beat him.
I just hate the talk and the high. It's too much.
And it brings it back to what we were talking about earlier. It's just controversy. Yeah. It's just controversy and all the things that sell to an audience. You know, because you're not going to sell to an audience who agree with you and saying, "Oh yeah, Michael Jordan is way better than LeBron." Nobody's going to buy that. Nobody cares. They're like, "Oh yeah, I already knew that. I'm just going to change the channel." But if they hear you say that Kawhi Leonard is the greatest of all time and he's better than Jordan, then everyone's going to look at you and be like, "You're a moron."
Yep.
Bottom line. Unless okay, I'll say LeBron is the greatest of all time if he goes to every championship game from here until his retirement and wins them all.
Yeah.
And he's 32. So he doesn't have very many left in him. That's what you have to realize. When you get to be 32 years old, your shit just is on the decline.
You have to stop the flopping thing for me too. Like now, yeah. I mean, probably should have stopped it. Like never did it in the first place. Really,
LeBron,
his size.
LeBron, buddy, this is not soccer. Stop with the flopping bullshit.
That's my problem with the NBA right now. Is it's starting to turn into soccer. Not like with the scoring or anything like that, but with the way that people take contact. Like no one's like man enough just to take the damn contact, and
nobody wants to get hit. Everybody wants to drop the flag.
Everyone wants to flop like crazy and roll on the ground. It's like, dude, you know,
and they call you smart for it. No, you're not smart. You're a pussy.
People tune in to watch. The reason why you watch, you know, like the NBA or something, rather than watching, you know, maybe like your local high school game, is because you want to see people who could do things that you can't do. Like that's just, you know, amazing. There's someone there 6'8", you know, they can knock down a three, they can dunk, you know, that type of stuff, and it's
or not just dunk, but like change directions of a layup mid jump and then still make the shot.
You know, that's what entertainment is based off of. You know, you want to go to a concert, see someone sing or you know, instruments, dance, rap, whatever type of stuff you're into.
You want to see them do the impossible.
Yeah, you want to see a performance. Watching someone flop around like, you know, with minimal contact is just like.
If I wanted to see that, I'd go fishing.
Yeah,
that ends up being the long and the short of it. If I wanted to see that, I'd go fishing. LeBron, stop the flopping. It's not soccer. And you know what the problem is? The problem is that everybody is accepting of it in this participation award society where you can't touch nobody. I'd rather go see a high school basketball game. You want to know why? Because at least they have a little bit of contact. You know, if LeBron tried to take it to the hole against Dennis Rodman, he'd hit the motherfucker with his elbow in the nose and say, "Fuck you, get the fuck out of here." And he still wouldn't get ejected from the game. And LeBron, he would rest. That's what he would do.
Yeah.
Rest.
See someone in high school, they got the reputation to worry about still if they flop.
Yeah, because then you got to go to school the next day and be like, "Hey, why are you flopping around like a bitch?"
Yeah.
You know, and LeBron, he's making millions of dollars. He don't care if you call him a bitch. He's like,
you know what I'm wondering? Has any, maybe it's happened, but has any reporter ever asked him, like, after a game or, like, why are you flopping around so much, LeBron? Is that like...
No, somebody did ask him that. I remember.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Somebody asked him that, and he goes, because they asked him, he's like, so is flopping a part of your game plan? And LeBron goes, I don't know. I just know how to go out there and play what I know how to play. I don't know about flopping. And I'm looking, I'm watching it, I'm like, bitch, come on.
No.
Don't give me that.
Reporter should have turned the heat up on him. Like,
it's like, well,
let me tell you what flopping is, and LeBron, like, you're 6'7", 270 pounds. This 6'2" point guard, 210 pounds, you know, grazed you, and you fell like, you know, you went down like a folding chair. That's what flopping is. Do you understand what it is now?
Yeah. I'll tell you this. As a man, if you do that shit on the street,
oh my god,
you're getting punked every day.
Yeah.
Your lunch money is getting stolen. And I'll tell you this. If the Cavs went up against the Pistons in the 80s, they would take his lunch money every fucking day.
Probably take his shoes during the middle of the game.
They would take his shoes and throw them to the rafters.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Walk home.
You get punked like a bitch. That's what you would do. That's exactly what would happen. You get punked like a bitch. And, dude, I know you. I've seen you play football. You don't get punked around. Anybody who tries to throw some shit or start some shit, you're in the face.
Yeah, you can't.
With LeBron, that's what we're teaching these kids in sports nowadays. We're teaching them to be pussies. Hell fucking no. I talked about it on the last show where I told my son, hey, look, if they're doing this to you, you go out there and you horse collar the fuck out of them. And he did it because he defended himself. Yeah. He's a man. We're teaching our kids these days, in this day and age, in this sports era, to be pussies. And we can't do that. We got to stop the pussy shit. We got to stop the pussy shit. We got to start teaching our children, hey, look, if they're going to elbow you, you got one or two things to do. You're either going to take it or you're going to have enough of it and you're going to elbow them back. And if you get ejected from the game, I'm not going to fault you for it.
Yeah. I think, you know...
I'll take you out for ice cream if you elbow somebody in the face.
You know, one hit or something like that can be an accident.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, during sports or whatever, it happens. Depends on how the dude goes about it. Sometimes they apologize right away. If they're a jerk about it and some shit happens again, okay, now it's my turn.
Yeah, it's on. Just like the fight that we saw between who was it? When the Giants played it happened the other day. It was a few days ago, earlier in the week.
Bryce Harper
and
I can't remember the other pitcher's name, but
yeah, he got hit. He got beamed. Dude, Harper had enough of it. He went over there and they fought.
Yep.
I don't give a fuck if you get suspended. That's the other thing that pisses me off is if you fight and you're defending yourself, you get suspended for it in school.
I know.
It's bullshit.
Yeah, it's dumb.
If my son got picked on, and I told him, if you get picked on, and if you get into a fight because you defend yourself and you get suspended, I'm taking you out for a pizza dinner, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to email the receipt to your principal with my dick on it. And tell him...
Stenciled on it?
Stenciled on there. I'm going to trace my dick on the email. And I'm going to say, you can suck my dick. You just gave my son a 3-day vacation. And I'm going to do his homework for him.
Win or
I don't know
lose.
why, because he defended himself.
Win or lose, you have to reward that.
Yeah, because what are you saying afterwards? Afterwards, you're saying, "Oh, son, you got suspended. I'm gonna ground you." That means you're not defending your child. That means you're not sticking up for your child for doing the right thing.
Yeah,
it makes you a bad parent. That's what it makes you. And we had talked about this before, where, you know, in today's society, there's too many people raising pussies. Too many of them. And we have to... I'm not saying you should go out there and pick fights with people all the time. I'm saying if somebody says some shit or tries to get in your face, defend yourself. Because there's nothing wrong with defending yourself. There's nothing wrong with defending your home. Because what's going to happen one day? Somebody who's hopped up on crystal meth is going to break into your house and threaten your family, and then all you're going to do is what? Tell the principal?
Go to your quiet place.
You just curl up in the fetal position
Yep.
while some dude's raping your wife, and you say, "No, honey, just let him do it. He'll go away when he's done."
No. You don't understand. This is gun-free zone. This is a gun-free zone. You can't have that here.
Yeah. Hell no. Let me tell you something. You should not be in my fucking house. Boom. That's it. And you know, that reminds me. If I were to break into somebody's house, I would expect the same thing to happen to me because I shouldn't be in your fucking house.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Which reminds me, that did happen to somebody that we went to school with. I'm not going to say his name. Actually, I'm going to say his name because none of you know who he is. He's dead now, so it doesn't matter. Kenny from the baseball team. He was like a year before us. And he played on the baseball team with Alex. And he was drunk as shit. It was like maybe 9 months ago, back in September last year. He was drunk as shit. And he was out in the country. He's out in the boondocks, out in the Jackson area. Mm-hmm. And he was so drunk that I guess he forgot what house he was in, but he probably just wanted a place to sleep. So he broke into somebody's house. And when he was in their house, the owner of the house heard the rummaging, brought a shotgun, and put that shit in his chest.
Dang.
Boom. Dead on impact.
That's crazy.
Done. And I ain't got no problem with it. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's fucked up." No, it's not fucked up.
You don't know the person's intent, you know?
You have no idea. He's drunk as shit. You don't know what the fuck he's going to do. Because you don't know what he's going to do. You don't know if he's going to rob you. You don't know if he's going to rape your wife. You don't know if he's going to rape you. You don't want to get raped. I don't want to get raped. That's the end of the story. And that's the society we live in. No, you can't do that. Fuck that.
This is a rape-free zone, too.
Rape-free. Exit only. Okay, so now that the rant's done, we got 20 minutes of ranting done. Let's talk Dynasty. Okay, so the actual true purpose of the show, because for about, 3 or 4 months, we have absolutely nothing to talk about. But when June hits, we're like a little over 100 days from football. So we can actually get to real shit.
I think we're already just under 100 days.
Just under 100 days?
Just under 100 days. I saw an email or something recently. We're just under 100 days now.
It's going to fly by. We got 100 days left of summer.
Till preseason kicks off. Because we got all of June, July. Yeah, and then preseason's in August.
And then we're foaming at the mouth, dude. We got pre-cum in our pants, and we're ready. So what we're going to talk about is something that like nobody really is involved in their, whether it be Dynasty or any other draft, is that in our Dynasty draft, when we created it, 7 years ago? When you created it 7 years ago, was it?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. It was in 2010 when we first started it, and we drafted. And since then, it's been an entire whirlwind of excitement. And since then,
innovative.
We've had so many things added, and not like crazy stupid rules like limited amount of transactions or whatever. Nothing dumb like that. But you could actually take the risk and draft college players who you would have to wait until obviously they came into the NFL, whether they were drafted or undrafted or signed out of after, like, in the second draft. I think they have like a compensational draft or whatever it is in the NFL.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, but that's usually the comp draft in the NFL is usually for players who, for whatever reason, they don't enter the NFL draft. Maybe eligibility issues, or maybe they decide after the deadline, you know what, I don't want to go back to school. I want to play in the NFL now.
Yeah.
Then they have a comp draft for those players who decided late that they want to go pro.
Yeah. One of the more notable comp draft players was Terrell Pryor.
Terrell Pryor. Al Davis's last pick.
his last contribution to the NFL.
His last pick. And right now, it looks like it might not have been that bad of a pick. I mean, for the Raiders, obviously, he's gone.
And not for the position that he was drafted for.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, it's a shame they didn't try him out at receiver.
Yeah. Well, especially when Hugh Jackson was there. Because now Hugh Jackson's on the Browns, and he kind of transitioned him into being a wide receiver, which was awesome. I liked it. Yeah. It was great. He was a great waiver wire pickup for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Big time.
So, over the years, there have been many a college player that have been drafted, and one high school player has been drafted. It has gone that deep to where someone who was a senior in high school at Heritage Hall, as I picked up Barry Sanders Jr., and he's panned out to be caca. Nothing. He's not entered the draft or anything. I don't really fault him. I don't really blame him. It turned out to be like a even type of thing in the end. I mean, there really wasn't much that I gave up for him. Didn't I get? Wait, I gave him a whole draft, right?
You paid with our
No, I paid
league,
$50
you can only have a
extra
limited amount of college picks. And he was over his threshold, but he really wanted this player, and we were like, but you can't. And so he offered to pay. He literally paid more money to the league pot for the winnings in order to be able to draft this other player. We put it up to vote. I think the following year we told him we were going to dock him a college right. So he kind of took it in advance, but paid a pretty decent fine, I guess, to do it.
I guess that's what you would call it.
Everyone
like
agreed, everyone approved because more money in the pot, and it turned out to be someone that no one was targeting anyways. So, and he almost cut Andrew Luck to do it when Andrew Luck was still in college.
Almost.
So,
that came close.
So with our league, like you said, you can draft college players. You don't get any fantasy value for them that year while they're in college or while they're in college period. But as soon as they come out, bam, they're on your team.
They're on your team, and so, I think the only advantage is that you get to have them before anybody else targets them. And there have been a lot of players that have been, sought after, and then like for example, when I go and it's like, oh man, that'd be a great pickup. What spot do I have in the draft? Then I look. I say, oh, that'd be great to pick up here, and then you look at the list of who's been, what college players coming out into the NFL that have already been taken, and then you look at it and you're like, oh fuck, well he's been taken already. I don't really have a shot. But it's like a reward to those people who have looked in college and saw the talent from these guys and said, okay, look, I can pick this guy up, see how he does, and then if he enters the NFL as like a top ranked rookie, then you're like, oh shit, well that's fucking badass. Yeah. I don't have to worry about making up a board for like Melvin Gordon, because Melvin Gordon was already on the team before he was ever picked in the NFL. Guys like Melvin Gordon, Leonard Fournette, he was picked before anyone else.
Freshman.
Steve
in our league picked him as a freshman.
Yeah. Yeah, or even DeMarco Murray. DeMarco Murray was picked up as a college player.
Yeah, I mean there's other dynasty leagues out there, but I think this makes it more realistic as far as like what it's like, I guess, to be like an owner, in
the NFL. Kind of give you an idea of like, hey, I gotta invest a little bit more time. I gotta look a little bit deeper at a lot of the players that are out there and see who is available, who can fit on my team, and how they fit on the team that they're on, because a lot of players that end up being available are players that end up either getting traded away in the offseason or picked up in the offseason free agency. And you really don't know how they're going to pan out or how they're going to be or what they're going to do. Like Kobe Fleener. When last year he got picked up by the Saints, and everyone was like hailing him as like the next tight end who would like take over and have like double-digit touchdowns. And he turned out to be poop. Turned out to be caca. He was like just the great white hope.
No one's been able to replace Jimmy Graham there yet.
Fizzled away. No. But that's one of the things that you have to like kind of wait and see. So what college players have you had in the past? Which ones have worked out and which ones haven't?
Okay, probably my biggest hit is I picked Zeke Elliott, while he was at Ohio State.
Yeah,
that's a good one. That was a player I was really like high on him, like obviously when he came out and when the Cowboys selected him with that killer offensive line. Yeah. He was either like a first or second round running back in just standard leagues, like even non-keeper leagues. He was like first or second round back, and of course he killed it as a rookie. So when he went to Dallas, I was super pumped for that. So that's probably like one of my biggest hits. I've had like a couple of big flops. So I drafted Matt Barkley out of USC one year. Ooh, this was when he was projected as being like the top he's going to be the number one pick overall in the draft. And then his last year at USC did not go so well.
Yeah, it did. It wasn't the way he wanted it.
I think the Eagles drafted him. And, that didn't work out so good. But I think when I drafted Matt Barkley, he was probably I think I drafted him maybe in the third or fourth round. that year. Another one though, I think it was Ryan Williams was the guy I drafted. Who I was really high on him, the running back out of. I can't remember. Might have been Virginia Tech.
It was Virginia Tech.
Yeah. And Arizona took him, but when he got into the league, he just couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah, as soon as he got on the Cardinals, his like Achilles popped. I think as he was getting out of bed, his Achilles popped.
Yeah, he was hurt all the time, and that one I think that was probably like a first or second round pick that I did that one.
Yeah, and those ones sting because you look at it and you're like, fuck.
Yeah. Then
kind of just. It's like the fate of your draft, like just kind of just fizzles away. Like, god damn it, you just look at it like motherfucker.
I drafted Alshon Jeffrey while he's still in college. That one is done pretty well.
Yeah, it's paid off dividends.
We'll see how it works this year. Now he's with the new team.
Yeah.
Trying to remember if there's any other really big ones or bad ones. I'd say for the most part that probably sums up most of my biggest wins and biggest failures with the college players. Yeah. I'm sure I'm missing another good player that I drafted out of.
But and that's the thing. Over 7 years, you kind of like just forget about some of the guys. And some of the guys you want to forget about. Like me, I drafted like in the opening draft, like the very first draft that we had, I drafted Andrew Luck and I drafted Trent Richardson.
Oh man! And
Trent Richardson was decent his first year, and you had hope in his sophomore experience. And it just I think a lot of his career, actually all of his career, gets summed up in the memes that get created. Like there's giant, huge open holes, and he just goes.
Dude, the video that we did has over like 1,000 views for that one, which is crazy.
Has 3,000 views.
3,000 views.
Yes. 3,000 views. And two dudes talking shit, saying that we don't know what we're talking about. At the time it was created, and they're like, "No, Trent Richardson's good. He's like great. He had all this other stuff. Where is he at now, motherfucker? How wrong are you?"
The weird thing about that video is all you hear is one end of the conversation.
Yeah.
It was me and Alfredo on the phone.
Yeah,
and all you hear is one end of the conversation. I didn't even know that you were filming it at first. Otherwise, I would have put Fredo on speaker. But it was just one of those things. Like you could still tell what he was saying based off of my response, and
he was like totally defending him.
So
just like anybody else would, just like the comments on the YouTube page. They're like, oh no, it's because Andrew Luck is doing all the passing and all this other stuff. It's like, motherfucker, Andrew Luck could like pass 100% of the time.